Are you married? What? The sudden question came from an ex-lover I unexpectedly reunited with during a business negotiation. We had parted ways under unfortunate circumstances. After a decade, both of our surroundings had drastically changed. To say I had no lingering feelings for her would be a lie. My heart was pounding. But then, an event shattered my hopes. I'm getting married to her. A former high school classmate suddenly appeared and I put my arm around her shoulder. We looked perfect together. But no one could have imagined how this reunion would significantly alter fate. My name is Alex, 28 years old. I now live in New York, but I was raised in a small, rural town. The population was dwindling, and exciting events were rare in this quiet town. In high school, I was probably the least noticeable person in my class. Average in studies and sports. Just an ordinary-looking high school guy. I spent most days playing smartphone games alone at the back of the classroom, rarely speaking to anyone. It was a youth far from exciting. Yet, there was one time I drew everyone's attention. It was when a girl, just a classmate, suddenly confessed to me. It happened one afternoon after school. I was engrossed in a smartphone game event, alone in the classroom. Defeating a limited-time boss would grant a rare outfit that significantly boosts stats. I kept losing and retrying. Finally, I was one hit away from victory. Alex. Whoa. Suddenly, I heard a voice from behind me and I jumped. The momentum caused the smartphone to drop to the floor, and the person who had called out to it picked it up. The first thing that caught my eye was a beautiful, long, white finger. Next, the words "Game Over" appeared on the smartphone screen. Did you lose? The person responsible looked puzzled. Whose fault was that? That's when I instinctively looked up and glared at her. I still vividly remember the scene I saw with my own eyes. She was looking at me with her large, transparent, green-colored eyes. Her long bronze hair falls smoothly over her innocent face. Amidst such a pale impression, her long eyelashes and deep pink lips were so strikingly eye-catching that they caught my eye. Jasmine, did I cause this? I'm sorry. Even her apologetic look seemed beautiful. Jasmine was undoubtedly the most beautiful girl in our grade, maybe even in our school. It's fine. Just give it back. Of course, someone like me couldn't make eye contact with her. While averting my gaze downward, I awkwardly reached out my hand, mumbling. She was still holding onto my phone, but she didn't return it right away. Do you want your phone back? Yeah, of course. Then, her next words left me doubting my ears. I like you. Will you date me? Yes, sure. What? Really? At that moment, I thought it was an illusion that the lights in the classroom suddenly turned on. Jasmine had a smile that was so dazzling that I couldn't look directly at it. Was that a dream? It felt so unreal that I slept well that night. However, the next day at school, I became the talk of the town. Good morning, Alex. Did you win your game after that? Jasmine. There she was, smiling at me near the lockers. It wasn't just me who was surprised, but also the other students. Jasmine, a famous person at that school. She was talking to a plain boy in a very friendly manner. What's their connection? This bus quickly enveloped the corridor. However, she didn't show any signs of being bothered. She did something that surprised those around her. Let's go to the classroom, Alex. The first period is about to start. Wait. She grabbed my hand and started walking down the hallway. The commotion grew, spreading rapidly among the onlookers. By lunchtime, it was a well-known fact that Jasmine is dating that Alex. Jasmine, who is beautiful and has excellent grades, and is the daughter of the company president, and Alex, who is introvert with no merits. Yes, she was a president's daughter. Her father owned the largest construction company locally. Beauty, lineage, and intelligence. She was the perfect superwoman. She is one who had said "I like you" to me. No wonder it caused a stir. Did you say something, Alex? Even her casual head tilt made everyone turn our way. That's how beautiful and attention-grabbing she was. That's what I didn't understand. Why did she confess her feeling to me? Besides, in a sense, it makes sense that there were some students who didn't find it interesting that Jasmine and I started dating. So, you're breaking up with Jasmine today, right, Alex? A boy with movie star-like features pressured me every morning to break up with her. His name was Alan. He was the heir to the biggest real estate company in town. academically gifted, and athletically talented. Moreover, he was handsome, a well-known figure in the school just like Jasmine. Hey, are you being mean to Alex again, Alan? I'm not being mean, Jasmine. We were just having a friendly chat. Right, Alex? Yeah. Alan deliberately called her name, flaunting his connection with Jasmine. They had known each other since childhood due to their family's business ties. So he thought he was more suitable for her. But me, of no particular merit, had come out of nowhere. Even though he didn't say it, his thoughts were clear. Jasmine, you have that piano competition coming up. You shouldn't be wasting time. It's none of your business, Alan. I've been practicing. Let's go, Alex. Yeah. While she was pulling my hand, I couldn't help but feel anxious. Why did she go out of her way to choose you? Alan said. So I decided to take the plunge and ask her. No matter how much I think about it, I don't understand. Why did you confess your feelings to someone like me? Because it started with social media. I grew to like you. Social media. Jasmine blushed and nodded, showing me her phone screen. It was a communication service I also used. The account she claimed as hers had been actively commenting on my posts. You're that Jasmine? Yes. I actually prefer pop music over classical. I can tell my parents, though. She preferred anime and manga illustrations over famous art pieces. She enjoyed photos of wildflowers posted online more than the roses and orchids at her home. She had always wanted to play the video games forbidden by her parents. Jasmine confessed these things, her face turning red. Her parents' expectations of being a president's daughter were, in reality, a burden to her. But I felt genuinely passionate from someone's posts. I wished I could be as honest about my feelings. At first, I was envious. Then I grew to respect them. So, I took a chance and commented. When you replied with thank you, I was so happy. I felt courageous, accepting the real me during those moments. Not being the president's daughter, but someone who likes the same things as everyone else. Was that you the one who wrote those long, word-filled comments every time, and the polite yet passionate comments? I murmured, and Jasmine laughed shyly. I just had so much to say. When I found out that person was you, I fell in love with you, Alex. The only time I can be myself is when I'm thinking about you. This is why I confessed. Her dignified appearance as a young lady was undoubtedly beautiful. From the day she confessed her feelings, I started seeing his face smiling and shy, befitting his age. Strangely enough, it felt right that she was my real girlfriend, and she looked strangely cute. I think that's when I fell for her. With a gaming console, we can play together without your parents knowing. At school, that sounds amazing. I'd love to try. Jasmine jumped around like a child, and I laughed watching her. In this way, it was awkward at first, but gradually they became lovers. We gradually closed the distance. However, one day, I began keeping my distance from her. Alex, about lunch today. Sorry, I'm going to study in the library this afternoon. Then I'll join. I want to concentrate alone. Sorry. I see. For some reason, I avoided her as she approached me. He also blocked her social media accounts to prevent her from commenting. After about a month of doing this, I want to break up. She was the first to speak up. Alex, do you hate me now? No, that's not it, but I find it painful to think about you now. What? I don't understand what you're thinking at all. I don't know what to do either. I can't stand it anymore. Understood. I didn't even try to comfort her as she sobbed. That was our last conversation. As soon as we were promoted to the next grade, our classes were separated and graduated with no interaction each other. Then I enrolled into a university in New York, and 10 years passed in the blink of an eye without ever returning to my hometown. Hi. It's been a while. Jasmine. Yes, Alex. I never imagined reuniting with her at a business meeting. Right. Sorry, I didn't give you my business card. Jasmine. Now a mature and sophisticated woman, with her hair neatly tied back and looking sharp in a suit, exuded the aura of a competent career woman. When she handed me her business card, I was struck by a particular line. CEO. My father suddenly fell 3 years ago. I'm an only child. I had no idea. How's the company doing? Thankfully, it's going well. I see. We exchanged a few words and glances, with brief silences in between. Each time I glanced at her, I still found her incredibly beautiful. There is no way such a beautiful woman is still alone. Are you married? What? It was her who asked first. Flustered, I managed to say not yet. Work keeps me busy, so I haven't had many chances to meet someone. Me neither. Not yet, but. The silence that followed was the longest yet. It was so awkward and the air was so heavy. Finally, I ran away. We should focus on work for now. Jasmine. Yes, we should. Alex. Oh, my business card. Sorry, I forgot. Where did it go? In fact, this business meeting wasn't with her construction company. My actual business partner was delayed, and I was told someone will be waiting in their place. Turns out that someone was my ex-girlfriend, Jasmine. Distracted by this, I struggled to focus on the task at hand. Be strong. I scold myself as I look for my business card. Didn't you come for work today? Despite the unexpected situation, I reminded myself not to forget the real purpose of my visit. I found it. Excuse me, Jasmine. Here's my card. I took a deep breath to calm myself and handed her the business card I had finally found. That's when it happened. The original business partner, who had been delayed, entered the conference room. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Alex. No, it's okay. Long time no see, Alan. When I said that, he showed a refreshing smile and said, That's true. The reason why is my former classmate Alan here. Because this is his father's real estate company. Thanks, Jasmine, for holding the fort. It helped a lot. No problem. I'll be going then. In response to the words of kindness, she tries to leave the room with a curt attitude. Then Alan suddenly grabbed her shoulder. Just like lovers. Have you told him, Jasmine? No, I haven't. Told what? It's no good. I have to tell him something important. I can't help it, so I'll tell him. It's not something that has nothing to do with him. He grinned in a strange way, feeling extremely proud. And finally, he said it. We're getting married, Jasmine and I. What? I was dumbstruck, and Jasmine averted her eyes from me. Alan cheerfully revealed they had been engaged for a long time. It started right after you left for New York. Our families had a discussion to deepen the collaboration between our companies, and the engagement is part of that. Don't think it's against our will. I've always liked Jasmine, and she feels the same, right? He talked on his own and peered into Jasmine's face. He's still a good-looking guy, and it looks like he's gotten even more polished. Is it because of the past incident that I can't honestly say congratulations? Her father passed away, and we postponed the wedding until the company stabilized. But now, we're planning to marry and register our marriage in half a year. The guest list for the wedding is going to be huge, and we're busy preparing. I see. That must be hard. This project is a joint sponsorship between Alan's Wood Real Estate and her Clark Construction. Jasmine, you will be the representative and contact person on this. Wait, I wasn't aware of that. I'm busy with wedding preparations. Alex, would you like an invitation? Even if it's the farthest seat. As he said that with a smirk, I understood why I couldn't feel happy for them. Alan had intentionally orchestrated this reunion to show off that Jasmine, once my girlfriend, was now his. Sure, I'd be delighted to attend. That's good. I'll send the invitation later, so make sure to reply. Of course. I nodded with a smile, despite his snide remarks. Life in New York had toughened me up. Yet, I felt complicated inside. I hadn't broken up with Jasmine because I disliked her. It was more of an unresolved feeling that lingered for 10 years. I wonder if she had gotten over it a long time ago. Congratulations to both of you. I wish you happiness. Thank you. Thanks, Alex. See you. Alan left the room, so Jasmine and I were alone again. But the awkwardness felt less than a few minutes ago. If she is looking forward, I can't keep being jealous forever. Knowing about her marriage, I actually felt a sense of closure. Jasmine, here. Sorry for the delay. Huh? She looked surprised when I handed her my business card, because it read CEO on it. Alex, you became a CEO. Yeah, actually, I did. It felt somewhat embarrassing to admit it. I revealed to her while scratching my cheek. My passion for games led to starting my own game company. In college, a mobile game I made with friends sold unexpectedly well. I got carried away and started my own business after graduation. Now, we're doing just well enough not to go under. Just well enough. I know better than that. Your company's a major player, releasing several hit games. Her voice was the loudest since we had reunited. Being praised by her, a successful businesswoman herself, still made me blush. And I felt a bit proud, too. This project was a collaboration between my company and our hometown to revitalize the town, which had become quieter as its population dwindled. Through a game, I returned to my hometown for the first time in 10 years to work on it. We plan to recreate game streets as sets and host various events, like attractions based on actual quests and competitions for gaming skills. Cosplay of game characters is also encouraged. I see. So my company will handle the set construction. That's the plan. Here are the design documents. Well, these characters are so cute. Oops, sorry, I digressed. How about we digress a bit more? What? She blinked in surprise as I took out a portable gaming console from my bag. This is an action RPG game our company sells. Would you like to try it for reference? Really? But isn't it inappropriate to play games during work? Isn't that up to you to decide? You're the boss now, after all. Oh, right. That's right, she thought. She smiled for the first time, like a flower blooming. I felt my heart skip a beat. She was most beautiful when smiling. It was officially decided that the event would be held in 3 months, and I decided to stay in my hometown until then, as the person in charge of this work, to give detailed instructions on site. Plus, after being absorbed in work for 10 years, I thought it was time to help my parents, who are farmers. Please come back at least once every 6 months, said the busy employees, who were dissatisfied. Remote work is at its peak right now. As long as there is good communication in the company and employees are safe, I don't think it matters where the top management is. Alex, you're really doing the CEO thing. I thought. You thought I was all about games. A little bit. That's terrible. When I pretended to be exaggeratedly shocked, Jasmine laughed out loud. We had meetings together, toured potential venues, and occasionally played games in the name of event reference. Without talking about our past, we became closer again, becoming more like friendly acquaintances than business partners. And then we arrived at the day of the event. As a result of announcing it on social media, the response was greater than expected. On that day, the town mayor was surprised by the large number of people who gathered in his hometown, saying, "I haven't seen this in decades. It's a great success, Alex." Jasmine, representing the sponsoring companies, hurried over to me after finishing her speech on stage. He acts as a liaison between my company and the local community, coordinates the on-site staff, and even works on the construction of the set. She is the #1 contributor this time. I greeted her with a smile, filled with appreciation and gratitude. Thanks to you, Jasmine. I really appreciate it. My pleasure. Look, everyone's having so much fun. Indeed. I didn't expect the elderly to enjoy it as much as the younger crowd. Everyone's happy to see the town lively again. They thought it would just keep getting quieter as people left. Our craftsmen said they learned a lot from this. We're planning to use this experience to take on a broader range of work. She had shared her concerns about the struggling business due to fewer houses being built. Now, she brightly reported finding new opportunities through this experience. With her as CEO, her company's future seemed bright. By the way, where's Alan? He didn't seem to be here today. The venue was provided by Wood Real Estate, another main sponsor. I wanted to thank him for the event's success. As soon as he said his name, Jasmine's expression clearly clouded. He's a busy man. I'm sure he's grateful to you, too. At that time, I didn't know the meaning of that expression. If she had known, wouldn't she have been hurt? No, it was already too late. Alan's plan was already in progress. Eventually, the venue was vacated and everything was cleaned up, and I was finally able to return to New York. It's finally tomorrow. We're all going to be sad without you, Alex. I'd be happy if that were the case, but my parents were rather indifferent. They told me, farming isn't for you, so go back to making games. I'm sure they're rooting for me. They want you to be active in a place where you can make better use of your talents. Maybe. You're so positive, Jasmine. I'm actually sad, too. Then, as if suddenly having an idea, she suggested, "Hey, Alex, do you want to go for a drink?" "Oh, yeah. walking alongside her through the town's busiest bar district. From beginning to end, I was worried about my surroundings and couldn't calm down. Do you come here often? Yes, sometimes. So, you might run into acquaintances. Sometimes. Is something wrong? No, not really. We've been together for 3 months now, and you might think it's too late. She has a fiancé, Alan. It may be work, but right now it's completely private. If after I get home, I'll get her bad reputation saying the young president of Clark Construction was having an affair, I won't feel sorry for her. I walk slightly apart from her, making sure she didn't notice. You don't have to worry about Alan. Why? Ah, I see. You were concerned about him, right? No, not just him, but it's okay. She suddenly looked a bit sad. Alan doesn't care about me, she said. But he said he's always liked you. Who knows? That was the only time he ever said he liked me. What? Shocked by her unexpected confession, I stood there speechless. She smiled sadly and said, if it had been you, Alex. Me. If it had been you. If we hadn't parted ways. What would have happened? Well, I mean, before I knew it, Jasmine and I were staring at each other at close range. Illuminated by the lights of the bar, she looked even more beautiful than usual. More importantly, did I tell her I love you at least once when we were dating? Actually, it would be bad if someone saw the situation. Various thoughts were running through my head, and my heart was pounding even though I hadn't even drank yet. For now, I have to get away from her. As I took a step back, that's when it happened. What are you doing with my fiancé, Alex? When I turned around, Alan was standing there. A heavily made-up woman was clinging to his arm. Alan, what about that woman? She's just someone I know. Looks like Jasmine finally caught me. Jasmine was expressionless as she stared at her fiancé, who was in close contact with the woman. Meanwhile, Alan was whispering to the woman in a friendly manner and laughing as they looked at each other to find out what was funny. Their appearance is like that of lovers. Anger surged inside me. Alan, what do you think you're doing? Having a fiancé like Jasmine? What is it? You think you have the right to say anything? Spending the whole night with my fiancé? No, Jasmine and I are like that. Unlike you, she would never cheat on us. My anger spilled out in a shout. Alan dismissed it with a sneer and added something unbelievable. A little playfulness should be overlooked. If she got hurt over every little thing, she wouldn't make a decent wife for a CEO. Right, Jasmine? I'm not. Actually, you have no right to blame me, right? If this marriage falls through, you're the one in trouble. What do you mean? He spoke proudly to me, who didn't know anything about the situation. His own father supports Jasmine's company, which has fallen into disarray. That their marriage has a meaning in return. Then, his face distorted, and he kept spouting words that were unbearable to hear. So she can't defy me. No matter what I do, she has to endure silently. I'm saving her worthless company, so at least she should be useful as a trophy. She looks good, at least. Thinking you can embarrass me by gallivanting around with men. You're nothing more than a pawn in a political marriage. You should just stay home and play your lousy piano. Tears fell from Jasmine's eyes. At that moment, I reached my breaking point. Alan. He staggered backward as his companion screamed. My fist had connected with his cheek. Come on. Hey, such a nerd. You can't pretend like this and get away with it for free. That's great. I'll pay you anything even if it's compensation. He holds his cheek and glares at me, but I retort, not wanting to give in. I don't care what happens to me. Just apologize to Jasmine. Alex. She's just a pretty face. How blind can you be? If you spent any time with her, you'd find she's full of great qualities. I found none of that. She lacks charm, has lowbrow tastes in music and art, and still indulges in childish games like video games. As my wife, she should abandon all that. Shut up. I raised my fist again to cut off his words. But in the next moment, I was hit with an incredible shock. Huh? Alex. I was on the ground when Jasmine's scream brought me back to reality. My left cheek feels like it's on fire. I realized that Alan had hit me, and I could see him coming at me. Stop it, Alan. He started it. His chest was grabbed and he was punched 2, then 3 times in a row. The pain and shock was so great that I gradually lost consciousness. What I could kind of understand, was that Jasmine was sheltering me, half crying. "Stop it, please. You're defending him. I knew it. You two were cheating." "No, it's not like that. She is. Alex is not that kind of person. Don't insult him. Apologize right now." I gradually regain consciousness and my vision becomes clear. The first thing that jumped out at me was Alan's pale face. "Man, forget it." "What?" "I'm done, all done. The marriage, everything, I'm done with it." "Alan." He turns on his heel and leaves, leaving me and Jasmine stunned. In his arms, the cheating partner he was chasing was hugged again. "Is it really over?" "Yay, that too. It's all over. This is really what you wanted." "Yeah. I'll pay you properly for your time." "Okay. But I'm not cheap, you know. I'm the best. See you around." "Yeah." The woman casually detached herself from him and disappeared into a nearby shop. Jasmine and I look at each other due to the mysterious conversation. Suddenly, the forgotten pain hit me again. "Ouch, it hurts." "Alex, are you okay?" "Oh no, it's swelling." "What should we do?" Jasmine was worried about me as I was beaten up and half crying. This kind of kindness is also a good thing about her. After all, Alan doesn't know anything. I guess I'm much better for her then. "First, we need to cool it down. Come to my house." "Are you sure?" This is how I ended up visiting Jasmine's home. However, it was her parents' home where her mother also lived. "Alex, have you ever been in a fight before?" "Ouch. No, actually. Never." "I thought so. Why did you?" "While treating me," she let out an exasperated voice. She wondered why I attacked Alan, who was physically superior to him. "Well, I just couldn't stand what he was doing." "Why?" "Because he suspected us of cheating." "No." The moment I saw her tears, I couldn't control myself. Was it because we spent 3 months together and developed a sense of camaraderie? Was it because I learned once again that she wasn't someone Alan could insult? No, that's not all. Maybe I do. Just because. Still have feelings for you. What? Ever since then, I've always. Sorry, I shouldn't be saying this looking like this. But it's true. Why? Then why? Did you do anything to distance yourself at that time? She asks in a voice so small it almost disappears. Finally, the time has come to reveal the truth. I made up my mind and opened my mouth, actually. That was about 6 months after I started dating her. Alan called me out saying, "I want you to come to the back of the school building." Then, I heard a surprising story. It seems Clark Construction is in trouble. Really. Everyone's talking about it. It might go bankrupt soon. What about Jasmine? If things continue, her family will be burdened with huge debts. College might be impossible for her, and she might even have to drop out of high school. Pale-faced, I listened as he explained indifferently. And then he finally said it. Then he said, "But I might be able to help." "Really?" "I'll talk to my father. Ask if he can support Clark Construction." "Ellen, thank you. I appreciate it." "Alex, you say thank you as if it were your own." Alex said in shock. Then, he presents one exchange condition. Instead of helping Jasmine, break up with her. I was a sneaky, horrible person. I made you hate me just because I couldn't say it myself. You told me to break up with you. Really sorry. I sat in a chair and apologized deeply to her. Saying it was to help her is just an excuse. Even though I was a classmate from the same high school as him. Unlike Alan, the heir of a wealthy family, I didn't have any powers. I was so frustrated by that I ran away from her. The frustration I felt at that time was one of the reasons I later started my own company. I feel like if I become president, I'll have a little more confidence. Confidence to apologize to you, Jasmine. To return to this town. To tell the truth like this. And the confidence to say what I couldn't back then, that I love you. As I said those words, tears rolled down her cheeks. I love you, Jasmine. I'll take care of the finances. If it doesn't work out, I'll even bow to Alan to protect you and your company. So, if it's not too late, would you marry me instead of him? Stood up and opened my arms. My face was all swollen, and it looked far from romantic. For me, this is a once-in-a-lifetime proposal. You know, I still like the same things as before. I still play games. Is that not very CEO wife-like? If that's what you think is true to yourself, that's you I love. Jasmine, I may cause a lot of trouble with the company. I won't run away this time. If you take on debt, I'll share it with you. If we can't employ workers, I'll work on the site too. That's... Alex, you had no stamina. I'm a bit worried. Ouch. Remembering how I was completely drained just from carrying materials a few times, Jasmine chuckled softly. After a moment of laughter, she said, "Good to hear. We'll work on building up your stamina together." Yeah. Finally, I got a reply to my proposal. Then, I suddenly remembered the promise I made 3 months ago. The invitation letter I received from Alan remains in my possession as I have not yet responded to it. I have to give it back. If this happens, I'll have to give it back directly. The next day, I didn't take the plane that I had planned. Before I go back to New York, I found someone I need to meet. I'm sorry, but I can't go to the wedding. This is my reply to the invitation. At the meeting spot, I presented the invitation marked with a decline to that person. The person I called out emotionlessly received it and suddenly tore it in half. You'll regret it. And Jasmine as well. I'll gladly do so if it's with Jasmine. This is our answer to you, Alan. He snorted and crumpled the invitation resentfully. I had to ask the question that was bothering me the most. Alan, was your always liked her just a lie? Huh? I thought about it all night and still couldn't believe it. Yet, it kept coming back to me. What are you talking about? Hurry up, I'm busy. Alan, did you intentionally let me hit you? The silence was telling more than anything. By deliberately provoking us, he tested Jasmine and I's true intentions. And perhaps that he liked her. Why did you choose to be the villain? Whatever. I gave Jasmine 3 months and she was still indecisive. A woman like that isn't fit to be the wife of Wood Real Estate CEO. I thought I could make her happy, but in these 10 years, she never looked happy. I couldn't give her that. Alan, the woman was an acquaintance from a nightclub he frequented, asked to play the role of his lover to seem like a careless man. I'll handle it with the parents and others. I'll say, got tired of my philandering and left me. Was it all for this from the beginning? Without answering, he walked away. Later, I heard from Jasmine that he was the one who suggested a collaboration between my company and my hometown to create a track record for Clark Construction and pave the way for business restructuring. I wonder if he'll come to the wedding. Jasmine smiled at my murmur while in New York for a meeting. Who knows? He's not very straightforward, but he keeps his promises. Alan is quite reliable in that sense. It's been 4 years since we got married because we're both busy with work. Jasmine and I will be getting married soon. I wish he was there as well, as he now inherits his father's company and is a good business partner with Jasmine. As I prepared the invitation, I reflected, I want to help the people I care about. In the past, when I acted based on those thoughts, I ended up hurting her instead. Even now, when I think about what I should have done right, I feel ashamed of how helpless I was and feel like I want to go back in time and start over. However, I also think it's good that I can go back in time. Since I moved into the future, I was able to help her this time, because she is able to be herself and spend every day with a smile on her face. I might have been wrong, but it wasn't wrong. Now, I feel like I can accept that part of my past.